If you're sitting there wondering where the first half of 2025 went, and you're already feeling that familiar, oh crap, the year is flying by panic, this episode is for you. Welcome to the Mental Path Podcast. I'm Dr. Gretchen Guevara. I'm so glad you're here today because we're doing something that I think is going to change how you approach the rest of the year. If we're meeting for the first time, I'm a psychiatrist blending medical science, psychology, and personal development tools to support my mental health, and I want to share my personal practices to help you think and feel better. So every week I prep my calendar and I realized we're in June, like actually halfway through 2025. In fact, this month is almost over. And for a second, I had that sinking feeling, you know, the one where you're like, wait, what have I even accomplished so far this year? This is exactly the moment where we get to choose. We can either spiral into that where did time go panic, or we can use this as our reset point. Picture this, it's December 31st, 2025. You're looking back at the year. What do you want to feel? For me, I want to feel proud, excited, like I made real progress toward the things that actually matter to me. That looks like meaningful growth in my work, deeper connections with Carl and my kids, some great family adventures, and feeling strong with quality life balance that's right for me. And listen, as someone juggling being a mom, running a clinical practice, creating content, and trying to have my version of a balanced and fun life, I get how easy it is to get lost in the daily grind. End of the week, where did the week go? End of the month, how is it already July? Next thing you know, it's Christmas and you're wondering, what the heck happened? So today, we're hitting pause. We're doing a mid-year mental health reset. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how I do mine. Because trust me, I sprinkle resets throughout my life like confetti. I have to, with all the hats I wear, and it really pays off. It keeps me calm, motivated, and grounded. It's how I stay mentally tough, not just for myself, but also for my patients. It's much easier to pivot early rather than constantly putting out fires. That's true for your mental health too. Before we dive in, let's get real about something. Taking care of your mental health isn't a self-care trend you do just when you have time. It's what keeps you functioning when life gets messy. And trust me, life always gets messy. You know that. I help people find calm and clarity every single day in my practice. To do that effectively, I have to take care of my own mental health too. That's not just professional ethics. That's how I stay sane as a working mom with big goals. So here's my framework, and it's the same one I use with my patients as well. Looking at physiology, psychology, and environment or social factors. Your body, your mind, and the people, places, and things that occupy your time and energy. We have to pay attention to those. Let me walk you through how I do my mid-year reset using this framework. First things first, I focus on the wins from the past 6 months, and I'm not talking about just the big moments. I'm talking about the small stuff that actually moved the needle. I actually go month by month. It's easy to forget our wins as time flies by, so I pull up my calendar and actively look for my accomplishments. Professionally, what strides have I made toward my big goals? Maybe I launched that course, helped a patient through a breakthrough, or finally organized my office in a way that doesn't stress me out. Personally, same thing. Did I have those deep conversations with my kids? Did my husband and I actually spend quality time that didn't involve discussing our calendars? How did we overcome conflict? Did I read books that lit me up instead of just falling asleep watching a movie on the couch? Here's what I've learned after years of doing this. Our brains are wired to scan for problems. It kept our ancestors alive, but it makes us miserable in modern life. There's just too much to pay attention to, too many problems to solve, too many things to think about. If we don't actively hunt for what's working, we lose steam fast. When I say balance, I don't mean some mythical 50-50 split between work and life. That's fantasy, especially if you're ambitious and care about multiple things. For me, balance is about whether I'm getting enough of what fills me up. Even when I'm putting in long hours at the clinic, am I still having real conversations with my kids? Are my husband and I connecting passionately? Are we talking about our big dreams? Am I doing things that make me feel like me? If something feels off, I get specific about how I'm spending my time. Because burnout isn't just about working too much. It's about not having enough time for the stuff that makes you feel alive. All right, let's talk about bodies, like your physiology. I take a bird's eye view of how I've been physically this past 6 months. This is where I get honest about, am I current on health screenings, dentists, eye appointments, mammograms, vaccines, all that stuff that we love to avoid? Have I taken any new supplements or made diet changes? How's that working for me? Was it helpful or just another thing adding stress? What about my workouts? Do I need to switch things up? Are there any injuries I've been ignoring because I'm too busy? Remember, your brain is literally part of your body. If your body is barely holding on to energy, your mental health is going to tank no matter how many mindfulness apps you download. I usually hear from others, I can't figure out why I'm so anxious all the time. It turns out they haven't slept more than 5 hours a night in months and was surviving on coffee all day long. Sometimes the most powerful mental health intervention is really taking care of your body. Please remember that. Next, I dive into my mindset. How has my attitude been this last 6 months? What were the recurring themes of stress between January and now? This is where I get really curious about what habits are supporting my psychology that I need to keep doing, what habits are dragging me down that need to come off my calendar. Do I need to be more consistent with meditation, journaling, or other mental health practices? What about my emotional rest? Am I creating space to actually process things, or am I just pushing through everything? I also look at my professional development. Are there cognitive skills I need to fine-tune or update? Growth mindset isn't just a trendy word. It actually impacts how resilient and adaptable I am. And here's a big one. I audit my self-talk. Am I being supportive to myself as I am to my patients, my friends? Or am I being harsh in that inner critic voice? Is that so harsh that I would never let anyone speak to anyone else like that? This one catches people off guard because we don't always realize how much our surroundings affect us. That's paying attention to your environment to improve your mental health. Your environment includes everything coming into your space. The news you watch, the conversations you have, the people you spend time with. And I know there's been a lot of things happening in the world lately. If you care about these things, which I do, it can really wear you down. So I reflect, how am I taking in information? How am I tempering the news I watch? What communities am I engaging with? What conversations am I having regularly? Are these supporting my growth, or are they just adding to my mental load? I also look at my relationships. Who energizes me? Who consistently drains me? What conversations am I having that leave me feeling inspired versus depleted? And giving back to my community is also important to me, so I think about that too. But I have to assess, am I giving so much that it's draining my energy and becoming unhealthy? Or am I not doing enough and there's this internal yearning to contribute more? Here's where it gets strategic. I look at all these areas and ask, are the things I've been actually doing moving me toward what I want? If you've never written down your big life goals, personally and professionally, oh gosh, please do that. It's a game changer and probably deserves its own episode. I look at my big goals and ask, are the things I did in the past 6 months moving me forward? Am I on track? And based on where I am right now, do I need to pivot for the next half of the year? It's this balance of having clear direction but staying flexible, being willing to adjust course so I'm actually winning, not just staying busy all year long. I particularly focus on the challenging parts of the past 6 months. What were the obstacles I faced? What internal mental chatter challenged me? How did I handle relationship difficulties? I look at these through the lens of my values: health, family, relationships, professional goals, because some of these are my non-negotiables. I want to learn from whatever happened. If there are any anticipated challenges based on how the past 6 months have gone, I want to mitigate and plan for those so I'm winning between now and December. Here's what I love most about this process: clarifying the next action step. That forward motion lets me know that even if I have big goals that require patience, and I know it's a long road, I am progressing. Remember those episodes we did about recognizing your wins and progress to improve confidence and sustain motivation? This is exactly that in action. All right, here's your challenge for this week. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You just need your own quick check-in. First, look at your body. How has your physical foundation been? Any health stuff you've been putting off? Next, your mind. What mental habits are helping versus hurting? What thought patterns need an update? Finally, your environment. What's draining your energy? What's giving you life? What needs to shift? Then ask yourself, what's one thing, just one thing I can adjust this week to feel proud instead of panicked when December rolls around? Write it down. Stick it somewhere you'll actually see it. Again, this isn't about perfection. It's about course correcting with intention, not pressure. Mental health isn't just about managing anxiety or avoiding burnout. Yes, that matters a lot, but it's also about creating a life that actually fits who you are and who you're becoming. And part of that includes these reset moments, these pauses, where you get to be intentional about your direction instead of just reacting to whatever's in front of you. So take this seriously. You've earned the right to be thoughtful about your life. If this resonated with you, save this episode or share it with someone who might need their own mid-year reset. Sometimes we all need permission to pause and recalibrate. Next week, we're talking about how mental chatter shows up in disguise and quietly drains your energy without you even realizing it. You won't want to miss that one. Until then, take care of your brain. It's the only one you've got and it deserves your attention. See you next week.